So, we're gonna play a couple recordings here. Why the fuck does it keep doing that? It goes up to 30 seconds and then it starts over at 5 seconds. What the fuck, Chuck? We'll play this first one. It's from a guy named Sean. He's in a few recordings. He knows I record. He's not gonna like that it's public, but he does understand why it's public.
Morning, Sean. Getting screwed by the same people. Yep, I should carry one of them too. That's what I keep getting told anyway.
Who's carrying a bat?
Wolnez came to the van last time I got out. I'm like, what, little fucking skip on right? I'm like, Jesus.
He came at you again?
Where's your baseball bat? Right here, motherfucker. Come over here, thing.
And he tried starting a fight with John Stevens too. John or Andrew? Both.
Probably both. 3 times or no?
10 minutes, 5 dollars.
20 cents.
What are you hungry for?
Around 11:30 is a half price time. It's like $5. You can do it, you know. Lot.
So he's always good to everybody out here, so I don't mind. This isn't mine. This is somebody wanted me to buy pot. I mean, there's enough on
For $4.50, you can get 8, or $9 you can get a quarter. Like the one behind Subway.
The
That's
biggest
where I go.
issue is I don't smoke, like hardly at all. So if I do buy, it's only so that I can say I already have some.
One of the churches right there, we're going to name nameless, down in the basement, the biggest fucking city block. You got licensed shit down there. You go for conservations. I'm licensed by OLCC.
So what do you want?
Oh, for $5 a set. 2 of the chicken field and 2 of your jalapeno poppers. My girlfriend will be happy too. She gets to eat. Ooh. So I took some fucking black spray paint to this, and then I got some sanding paper. Kind of went reverse. Now I got to repaint it. Gotta get all the crap off of it. Yeah. This is assault with a deadly weapon, but sometimes, sometimes you have like cops too.
It's not assault with a deadly weapon. Yes, he has a big black bat, but he hasn't hit anybody with it. Now, in the previous recording with him, he talks about sticking it to the back of Andrew Wolnez's head. That would be, assault with a deadly weapon. It's also what Cynthia told me to do. That's right, Cynthia told me to take a baseball bat to Andrew Wolnez. She also told me to take bear mace to Andrew Wolnez. She also told me to shoot him. She also told me to taser him. Those are the most common answers. Do none of you think to yourselves, maybe I should turn the son of a bitch in? Maybe I should actually help the victim instead of making empty promises? Just saying.
Wait up. If he runs to his daddy's house, I'll break his daddy's windows. Tell him because his son's a moron.
It'd be nice if he'd just knock his stuff off.
It's like he has a vendetta. His ex-girlfriend, Abby, She may or may not have come up to my question.
Now, you guys might have noticed that for once, when somebody was talking about hurting Andrew Wolnez or potentially killing him, I didn't say nothing. It's because Andrew Wolnez is fucking crazy. Actual crazy. Actually out to hurt people. Actually hurting people. Actually threatening to shoot people. Actually threatening to stab people. And he is recorded doing it. Don't get me wrong. I'm willing to threaten people back if it's absolutely necessary. But it has to be absolutely necessary. That means all other recourses have been exhausted. The police choose not to do their job. Mental health chooses not to do their job. My friends and family want to pawn me off onto the police and mental health, thinking that's going to magically fix all of my problems. No, it doesn't. See, that's the problem with your suggestions, is they're fucking dismissive. When you say, hey, maybe you should take some meds. Will medications get me a safe place to live? Will medications get me back into low income? Will taking medications stop Andrew Wolnez's assaults? His threats, his harassment? Jesus fucking Christ, y'all don't think. So let's hear about Abby.
When they were broke up or whatever, but he was still fucking over there. It's like, dude, get the fuck over there. She's just gonna use you every fucking time. And I think maybe he got told about it. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he's just suspicious about it. I'm just like, fuck that guy. Ain't an asshole all the time.
It'd be nice
I mean,
if
we
he
were
saw
friends at one point. Like, he's in one of my videos on Facebook and shit, and like, we made a great comedy team.
Now you hear that twice already. There was stuff that I felt was really super important to say, but he said something worth hearing. This is a guy who used to be friends with Andrew Wolnez.
He's fucking. He's jealous. He sees me with a bitch. He gotta start trying to talk to that girl, and it's like, Now he sees me with this one. Oh my god! His world came sliding down. How did he do this? Called making him laugh and having a big dick and knowing how to use my tongue. Sorry. Okay. That's exactly how I fucking told him. And he didn't like it. And I told him like that in front of a whole bunch of people. And I said, by the way, small dick. Like, you know,
I guess he had a thing where he was trying to mess with Gabby while she had a boyfriend, and she wasn't having it. She was more pissed off at her boyfriend for not reacting properly.
Abby's like, yeah.
Difference between Abby and Gabby. Two different
She
levels.
literally walked into Andrew's house and she saw me and like she tried to get on the fear of God look. And I'm like, don't even try this. You ain't gonna get nowhere with me. Thanks, man. I took a focus helmet on. Thank you, John.
Yes, sir. I'm still better looking than you.
I'm really not. He's taller than me. He's got more teeth than me. Now let's play the other recording. One with Mandi Singer.
Very nice. Okay, this is where I'm going to be very honest. When I was first, like when you first reached out to me, and it wouldn't have been at the end of 17 because I didn't have control of my account.
Hopefully
Back
I'll be able to sleep.
like 19 end of 1819, when I was with Joseph, and I would glimpse over the videos, I thought you lost your mind.
Sometimes when this feller here is sleeping, he'll start screaming about how it's time to get up and everybody's lazy and so on and so forth. Try to keep in mind he's sleeping, and he does that in his sleep. Yes, it scares the hell out of me. Yes, it wakes me up. Yes, it freaks me out. Yes, it activates my anxiety immediately. So if I'm able to get to sleep and you hear some banging and I get right back up, well, you'll understand why it is that I can't sleep. Plus, there's all the things I gotta get done that I'm incapable of without assistance. Instead of trying to understand that the issue that I have is a very simple one. In most of these situations, it's a simple fix. I can't send emails on this phone. The one that tall Lisa broke, that one was able to access. I was able to access the internet and my YouTube channel. I no longer have that access because somebody else was careless with my things. Let's press play.
And Joseph and I were both very concerned about that because Joseph was like, this is not Sean. What is going on? And of course, I didn't have the means to sit down and do the research or see what was going on or follow the posts because I didn't have that available to me. I didn't have the luxury of unlimited internet and unlimited electricity. So when you came, sorry, my mindset was, I am going to help him and I'm going to look over everything, but I'm pretty sure he's nuts. Okay? I'm pretty sure the guy is off his rockers, and give me 1 second and I'll get up here where you can hear me better. I'm pretty sure the dude's off his rocker, but that's okay because I'm going to look over everything and I'm going to prove it.
Here's the most important thing to remember through this. Mandi knew about the Natalie Bollinger thing as soon as it happened. A lot of people did. And they expected me to have no reaction to it. Now, every one of my friends observed a change in behavior. That change in behavior wasn't from the assaults. It wasn't from the threats. It was from my friends dismissing me outright, blowing me off, disrespecting me, taking advantage of me. Not just physically, also financially. See, all these people saw a change in behavior and just went, oh, he's crazy. No. When somebody has a drastic change in behavior, 99% of the time it's fucking abuse. Most of you fucking idiots don't know the difference between somebody who's on drugs and somebody who has experienced a severely traumatic situation. Mandi Singer didn't stop to listen about the assaults that I was enduring. Hell, when I found Christopher Weaver, where was Christopher Weaver? He was on a bus. I had literally just been assaulted. But I saw Christopher Weaver. And the first thing I thought about was Mandi Singer's son and helping to find him.
He's off his rocker. And then I'm going to talk to him and see about getting him help. And so then...
Getting him help.
What was the first... Okay, it was the...
She's showing the difference between assumptions and reality. Anybody with half a fucking brain would have expected a change in behavior after what happened. Especially when being kind didn't get me hurt. It got me talked over and disrespected and talked down to like I was a fucking dog. When a man asks for help, you treat him like there's not a problem because he's got a dick. And when he screams for help, you treat him like it's his fault for screaming. If you hadn't ignored him for all that time to begin with, he never would have had to scream, you dumb cunt.
Podcast, ask something. It wasn't the sword and scale. It was, oh God. I want to ask Sarah, ask something. It was on a link underneath the video, the very first video you did about Natalie on your YouTube. Somebody had put the link to that video, and I was like, let me go check it out. It's a little podcast. And so I'm listening to the podcast, and they touch on how Natalie had put that Facebook post up saying that she had a stalker. And I was like, okay, let me go read that. Okay, yep, I see what she's
Meanwhile,
saying.
I posted the link to
what
her
she said about
multiple
Sean.
times before that.
And then
She never got around to looking
I saw
at it.
the text messages where she contacted you on this.
Now, we do have multiple videos with her talking about being a junkie and what she was doing during the period of time that she could have made a difference. Now, in this one, she tries to polish it up. The reality was she was fucked up on drugs. She also admitted to it, and it is on this channel.
December 15th saying, hey, I don't want to talk. I don't want to text. Can we meet? I want to quit our fighting. I need this crazy to stop.
Oh, very nice.
We'll go back to the beginning.
Okay, this is where, I'm going to be very honest. When I was first, like when you first reached out to me, and it wouldn't have been at the end of 17 because I didn't have control of my account. But back like 19, end of 18, 19 when I was with Joseph, and I would glimpse over the videos, I thought you lost your mind. And Joseph and I were both very concerned about that because Joseph was like, this is not Sean. What is going on? And of course, I didn't have the means to sit down and do the research or see what was going on or follow the posts because I didn't have that available to me. I didn't have the luxury of unlimited internet and unlimited electricity. So when you came to talk to me in November and asked me to look over everything to see if I could help you, my mindset was, I am going to help him, and I'm going to look over everything, but I'm pretty sure he's nuts. Okay? I'm pretty sure the guy is off his rockers, and give me 1 second. Here we can hear me better. I'm pretty sure the dude's off his rocker, but that's okay because I'm going to look over everything, and I'm going to prove he's off his rocker, and then I'm going to talk to him and see about getting him help. And so then, what was the first? Okay, it was the podcast, ask something. It wasn't the sword and scale. It was, oh God. I want to ask Sarah, ask something. It was on a link underneath the video, the very first video you did about Natalie on your YouTube. Somebody had put the link to that video, and I was like, let me go check it out. And it's a little podcast. And so I'm listening to the podcast, and they touch on how Natalie had put that Facebook post up saying that she had a stalker. And I was like, okay, let me go read that. Okay, yep, I see what she's saying. She's got, what she said about Sean. And then I saw the text messages where she contacted you on December 15th saying, hey, I don't want to talk. I don't want to text. Can we meet? I want to quit our fighting. I need this crazy to stop. And then you guys agreed to meet. And the first thing that hit me when you responded to her was, I can't meet at Starbucks. I'm not okay being in Boulder because, first of all, we're from Boulder. Why would I not be comfortable going home? I know now because of my own experiences. And the second one was the fact that you wanted to meet her in the police station. that floored me, because I am scared of you. Can we meet at the police station? I don't want to meet in Boulder. Can we meet somewhere else? And then it was through the Sword and Scale podcast that I was able to find the screenshots between her and Tim Beeson. And that's when I realized on the 13th of December, she posts a thing saying that you are her stalker. She contacts you 2 days later, asks me to meet in person to quit, to quit the crazy, which I wouldn't contact my stalker to do that. I've been in that position. The last thing I did was contact my fucking stalker at all. And then she's turning around at the same time saying, I'm afraid of him. If I go missing, he's got me tied up in a basement. He's that kind of person.
She claimed that I stalked her in Virginia. You've seen all of the messages between us.
Yeah, I have. And, well, I've seen all of the messages from the time you guys started talking on Facebook after you guys got back in touch. And your message was, hey, it was good to see you. I'm glad you were doing good. What's up? I don't have them in front of me, so I can't read them verbatim. And hers was, I was so excited to see you, and I couldn't stop thinking about you. And that to me was, okay, I have said that to people, and very rarely has it been somebody if I had just known somebody through a couple chance encounters and hadn't seen them in years, and then all of a sudden I see them and I'm so excited to see them and I can't stop thinking about them, that typically means that I have more than a friendly feeling towards them. This is, my experience. I'm pretty sure most people would say the same thing. You don't have that level of reaction to somebody that you don't have some level of fond emotion towards, some attraction towards. I wouldn't tell you, even when we got back in touch, I wasn't like, oh my God, Sean, I'm so excited to hear from you. I've been thinking about you. I said, hey, how are you doing? It's good to hear from you. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad you're safe. And, well, you know what I mean. That's not exactly what I said. I asked how you were doing. You told me, and I was like, damn, I'm really sorry. What can I do to help? Kind of thing. And then she goes and calls you her stalker. 2 days later, contacts you to talk things out. And then lies to you and says, I'm on my way, I'm going to be late, and doesn't show, but a police officer does, to serve you with a temporary restraining order. And at the same time, the message is to Tim Beeson, where I'm afraid of Sean, I'm afraid for my life, I have a loaded gun.
Right.
Okay, if I had...
And that's the thing, it's like people have been threatening to kill him, including Tim Beeson, who had a loaded gun.
Yeah, and he even said it in his messages that he had one too. And she said she already had one in the chamber of her gun. So, backing up to my own personal experience and where my perspective comes from, when I was dealing with Mike Smith, and I hadn't been able to get a TRO against him, and I saw him in public at the First Presbyterian Church, and I'm walking out, and he's standing just off the side to me, and he looks at me, he goes, hey, Mandi, wait till I get my hands on you again. I didn't go up to him and say, hey, yo, can we hash this out and make peace? No, I went to defend myself. I was ready to defend myself with violence if I needed to from a man who had already assaulted me and stalked me. Never once did I contact Mike and say, hey, yo, bro, can we hash this out and make peace? And so it baffles my mind that is not the behavior of somebody who is afraid for their safety and their life at all. Despite what she said to Tim Beeson, despite what her Facebook page says, which is undocumented accusations. That's the big thing. There is no evidence to provide that proof. And she had from the 13th to the 28th is when she went missing?
Yep. So
she had a good 15 days. She had 2 weeks. And in when I went through that, I had my documentation in hand. Period. When I went through the shit with Terry, I had screenshots of things that had happened. And
the situation is when I had you read all those, I wanted you to verify this message
true. Like because you guys started talking, it looked like, if I remember right, in April of 16 until October of 16. So for 6 months, it was, how are you doing? There were I love yous, I love you bunches, hearts emojis with the face with the hearts in the eyeballs, the emoji with the tongue sticking out. You know, you would say, you are wonderful, which just because you're male and female doesn't matter. I have female friends that I have given those words of affection to. Hey, I think you're awesome and I think you're wonderful. And male friends, if I know somebody's struggling, I boost them with positive love. It doesn't mean I'm trying to get in their fucking pants.
It's not
Period.
positive love, it's
And
bullshit.
she
That's how
was
women help us, is by fucking
Never
lying
once
to
did
us
you
and
say,
pretending
"Oh
that
my
they
God,
give
I
a
was-"
shit. What that's called is bullshit, straight up. It's not positive love. It's straight up bullshit. I don't need you to fucking lie to me and pretend to give a shit. Matter of fact, if you don't give a shit, don't pretend to be my friend. Just fucking leave. Because when you want to pretend that you're my fucking friend, while I'm abused for years and you're too busy getting fucked up on drugs to give a shit, no, you're not a fucking friend. You're a fucking predator. You're an abuser. That's what you are. When you get drunk and you fucking scream at everybody because you're a fucking drunk asshole, you're the asshole, not your fucking victims. When you get all jumped out of your goddamn mind and take it out on innocent people, it's not their fault. It's yours, you fucking junkie.
So glad to run back into you. We should totally hang out. Hey, why don't we do this? No, the first contact, well, like after she messaged you and said she was so excited and she'd been thinking about you, she's the one who offered a ride. She's the one who offered help. She's the one who initiated continuing to see you. And then she was never once, you know what, Sean, I can't do this anymore. Dude, you're creeping me out. They were always words of affection towards a person she cared for and was not afraid of. And then when she told you, because you were in Nebraska at the time that she decided to go to Virginia, and when she told you that, she said that she was going to need you to come visit her there. Because she went back and forth. I don't know if I should go. My family's trying to put me in prison. My ex-boyfriend is treating me horribly. Back and forth, back and forth. Well, yeah.
To verify the evidence itself, a lot of times, like those people get a hold of me, and like obviously just now while we were doing that, I got a fake profile account to me, and I got another person who was threatening towards me, and then there was people who were being assholes to you, and this is all stuff that is documented. Yep.
Yeah, let me put this down real quick. Here's your food, buddy.
But then there's also like a lot of the evidence that I had sent you previously. I'm not sure which
I haven't gone through everything
or not, and that's where a lot of stuff, like the, I definitely use curse words. I started off being extremely nice about it, and it was me trying to get help, stopping the violence, stopping the threats, so that I could go see my loved ones without having to, sit there and the stuff with Pierre and the stuff with Ryan, I haven't shown you that stuff yet, but that's, how people were treating me the whole time. Like, oh, I'm being assaulted. I need people to listen to me instead of blowing me off and tell me, oh, well, it'll blow over. No, I'm, at that
It
point,
hasn't blown over in 4 years.
Exactly. And it all started before she was killed. The thing is, while she was claiming that I was stalking her, because she claimed I stalked her in Virginia.
Yeah, and you did not. Like, it shows, like, I can't wait to see you. I'm so excited to see you. I'm sorry it didn't work out. I'm sorry I couldn't see you for longer. Like, there was one of the messages where you guys had only gotten to see each other for a few minutes, and she was like, I wish we could see each other more. Yep. The fact that, she's asking you, hey, have you left it? Where are you at? She doesn't even tell you she got in a car accident.
Well, she did actually.
Well, in the Facebook messages, okay?
Oh.
Because she said, I'm in pain, and you asked her what's wrong, and she said, go read my Facebook.
Right. And that
then-
was after one of the accidents. I wasn't even in Virginia at that
That's
point.
the
I went to
accident that she got
Virginia
into
till
when she was
October
threatening to kill
2nd.
herself. She said she was going to kill herself if I wasn't already on the road.
Yeah, it was a
And she
couple.
got into 2 more accidents after that.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's the pictures that people are claiming that I took these afterwards, or I stole them off for Facebook or things like that.
Like the one of her and her sister sitting on
Yeah, I took that picture.
See, it's down to the last minute. The problem with Bryn didn't actually want to help. She was just glad to have somebody to talk to. With Claire, she was glad that somebody will listen to her talk about the issues that she's going through. Now she's got a bunch of people that kind of sort of care, I guess. Am I still mad about the fucked up things that Claire did? Yes. The situation was fucked. It's still fucked. You don't ignore men unless you intend to be cruel to him. There isn't a single woman in America who's not aware of how horrible that feels. Women go out of their way to hurt us as a means of manipulation and getting free shit. It's the same reason they paint on a pretty face and dress like a 12-year-old hooker. They want attention. If they can't get it by positive means, they'll get it by negative means. If you got a crush on a girl and she kind of sweet on you, and there's a girl who's jealous of her because she wants you, she'll come up to you and she will tell you all sorts of horrible shit. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter. It's competition. Women don't observe any rules like men do. None of them. For a man, the gloves come off when he's not getting what he needs in most situations. With a woman, the gloves come off when she doesn't get what she wants. You know the difference between a need and a want. Affection, believe it or not, is a very real human need. Not necessarily attention, although many people try to convince themselves that attention is the same thing as affection.
That was, she had requested that.
And that
They
picture
wanted
is
to-
showing between positive messages between you and her. You sent her that picture.
You know,
And it was during when that picture shows up in the messages is when she said, I'm sorry we didn't get to spend more time together. And then what really did it for me, I mean, besides the realization of like the timeline of help, I'm being stalked by this person, and the only evidence she has is a screenshot of a fake profile where you admit why it's made. That's the thing. The only reason that screenshot was a fake profile with his face on it, and he admits why he made it.
Yeah.
So what does that prove? It doesn't prove he's stalking her. It just proves that he made a fake alternate Facebook profile, and it says why he did it. Like, so you could show his face to people so they would know who he was, which making
I didn't
false
hide who I
accusations
was.
against somebody and showing their picture to incite violence against them
That's exactly what she did.
is illegal.
Of course it's illegal.
It is illegal.
the ones who did it, these web sleuth groups.
But Natalie didn't give a fucking neither do any of you.
Has continued to this day.
Yeah, I see that. It's
Same story.
I have
Also,
seen
like,
it.
on
You killed her. You killed her. It's your actions that killed her.
Right?
With
Well,
her
like on my
family.
birthday, for example, like, you know, if I was stalking her, how many messages between me and her in that?
Oh, she said, "What do you want for your birthday? What kind of cake? What kind of present?" And you said, "I don't need any." Well, you said you wanted a chocolate cake for your birthday, but you didn't want any gift. And she insisted, "No, I insist." And she called you hun.
A lot.
A lot. Okay. I have never called anybody. I don't call you hun. We're friends. Okay. We are not at that level of an emotional, intimate attachment. My female sister friends, I call hun, but I'm not trying to get in their pants, and that's female to female. She called you hun. She insisted on a present, which she wasn't working. She was laid up with her foot all fucked up and full of metal, but she was still willing to get you something, and she insisted upon it. And that's when you said, "Just get 2 lotto tickets."
Is that something you do with a stalker?
I want to pause this for a second. While I was in Virginia. Let's back this up a few seconds.
She was laid up with her foot all fucked up and full of metal, but she was still willing to get you something, and she insisted upon it. And that's when you said, "Just get 2 lotto tickets."
Is that something you do with a stalker? You insist on going out for their birthday, insist on getting them a present
No.
for their birthday?
No.
And that's the thing, is that, you know,
Even in the times that I agreed to be around Terry and people thought I was back with him of my own volition, I never went out of my way to do something special for him. Not once. When his birthday happened, do you think I made him a cake? No, I did everything I could to get the F away from him. Consistently. You know, when I was being...
I did everything I could to get the fuck away from Natalie and her druggy bullshit. I drove 1,700 miles at her request because she was going to fucking kill herself if I didn't. I drove 1,700 miles, again, to get the fuck away from her and her goddamn junkie family. When you say, just go somewhere else, just move somewhere else, you really think that fucking works? Especially with all these web sleuth groups, don't give a fuck what the truth is. You get to see Mandi Singer. What did she do? Almost 3 full years, she ignored the situation. Didn't bother coming forward. Didn't bother to find out. It's not that she couldn't. There were plenty of times that we were in communication. It's because she wanted something.
Followed from town to town to town. I had documentation, like, and people knew. I would tell them, "I can't, please protect me. Guess what? I need you to watch my back and know where I sleep and know that I'm safe, because he keeps finding me and he is harassing me. He's stalking me. He's threatening my family. He's threatening my friends." I did not turn. The only time.
What did I have to deal with before Natalie was killed? I moved. I drove all the way from Chesapeake, Virginia to Boulder, Colorado to my home. And I was assaulted on the first fucking day over things that never happened. While Mandi is talking about the messages between Natalie and I, where Natalie didn't have a job, she was laid up because of the injury for trying to kill herself. Had a bunch of metal rods stuck in her leg. Yeah. That's when Natalie's twin sister, Alicia, asked me to stay behind her work. Not Natalie Bollinger's work, because Natalie didn't have a job. I never fucking stalked Natalie. and I never once stayed behind her work. Meanwhile, she didn't have to write down times and dates, did she? You have any idea how many times police officers literally threw my report away in front of me because I didn't know the times and the dates? You have any idea how many times I've gone to turn those into the clerk of the courts and they refused to take it because I didn't know the times and the dates? Natalie didn't have to write down times and dates. She didn't have to prove that anything happened. There was no burden of fucking proof because I was not allowed to go to fucking court. I was not informed that I had a fucking court date. All the cops had to do was gaslight the shit out of me and let people do whatever the fuck they want. Not a goddamn person I've ever met has ever given a fuck about me when I am fucking abused. Not a goddamn one of them. They would rather clean up the mess created by my fucking predators and give me empty promises of, oh, we'll get you a vehicle later. No, the fuck you won't. You're fucking pipe dreaming. Who's gonna fucking pay for a new vehicle? Who's gonna pay for the licensing? Who's gonna pay for the insurance? Yeah, you had a fucking idea. Good for you. Maybe you should have listened before spitting shit out at me.
I went back with him was when I started getting assaulted by other men to the point that I need something safe, and he was the only option. That it was either all the dicks on the street were following me. I woke up one night and this dude had found where I camped, and he was putting his hand down my pants. I wake up to some dude fighting.
All right, so I was in Boulder, Colorado. This woman, she was pretty young. It was her first day homeless on the streets. And of course, people brought her to me because I'm the homeless liaison in Boulder, Colorado. So for a whole day, I walked around with her to show her where the services were. Answered all the questions that she had because she'd never been homeless before. Helped her to get a blanket and a sleeping bag. The shit that she brought with her, fuck, she'd have fucking froze to death. Between a blanket and a purse full of makeup, you don't need a purse full of makeup. Not on the goddamn streets. You know what you bring out a blanket for? So you don't freeze to death. What do you bring your makeup out for? Same thing. You figure if you paint your face on, especially if you're young, maybe some guy will take you home and you won't freeze to death. Well, this lady, after all day long, she was thinking she was going to get all these free services and they were going to hook her up on the first day and she was going to be unhomeless. And no, you're homeless. They don't give a fuck. Maybe in 6 months to a year, after you've been raped a dozen or two times, maybe then they'll give a shit, but probably not, because you're fucking homeless. So this woman, right, she doesn't want to sleep with me, which I'm fine with. I like sleeping by myself. I like cuddling with dogs. That's a good night's rest. So she wants to sleep close by me just in case somebody does something and she can yell for help. So I sleep in the creek. It's a dry creek bed at that point in the year. And she sleeps on the other side of the road in the ditch. Could have been me in the ditch and her in the dry creek. Really didn't matter. What did matter is I wake up like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. I feel something rooting around in my trousers. I don't know what it is. Might be a raccoon, might be a rat, might be a squirrel. Whatever it is, it's digging around near my nuts. I twisted as fast as I could to get the fuck away from whatever it was digging around in my trousers, and lo and behold, it was that young woman deciding in the middle of the night she's gonna walk across the road to where I'm sleeping and try to fondle me in my sleep. Her wrist got stuck in my belt and it broke. So let's get back to Mandy's story.
And I knew who he was. It wasn't a complete stranger. I didn't say, hey, Terry, can we please meet so we can squash this? And she had a gun in her possession at that point.
And that's the thing, is that she was literally trying to incite people to kill me.
Yeah, she was inciting Tim Beeson,
who had a history of
violence against her.
Exactly, and also claiming that he's going. When I was in Virginia, how many times did she have to cancel our plans because Tim Beeson was going to blow his head off?
She did talk about that. He's got a gun to his head, and I have to talk him down again.
And there's,
I'm also going to state that, well, you guys are pissed off because I never show the smoking gun of such and such this and such that. You know, the conversations that I had with my friends, I never thought I'd have to fucking record them. And when I realized that I did need to record them, I still needed help being able to do so. Before Natalie was killed, sorry, I take that back. Before the situation in Virginia, I never thought I'd have to record my friends like that. And when Natalie Bollinger made that phone call telling me that she was going to kill herself if I wasn't already on the road, that was a phone call. How many of you record every single phone call with every single one of your friends? I have to, because none of them can be trusted. None of them are honest. And before you go saying that's because they're a bunch of drug use and alcoholics, you're wrong. Most of them are neurotypicals. And neurotypicals are by nature dishonest.
Obviously, there's a lot of stuff in there that people are like, all right, dude, when she was saying that she was infatuated with you and she still felt that way and stuff like that, like,
Yeah, that's what she said. She said, so, I can't remember verbatim, but she had said something to the extent of how, the previous infatuation, it's still there. And then she later on down, probably a few days, but down through the messages, she tells a story. When I met you and you drew the dragon on my shoulder, I was sure that I was in love.
Yeah, see, that was all right. For example, like Kat Chang was one of she was there. She was the one who was trying to make money doing
the tattoos. I remember you guys.
With a permanent marker.
I remember some of the kids coming around being like, "Look at my tattoo."
Yeah, and all of those were drawn by Kat, and I have some of her original artwork in there. Like I literally.
Freaking Buddha Chris used to draw permanent marker tattoos of mandalas in the lotus flower on me.
Yeah.
That's not a stalker. And that's what blows my mind when people are like, you were stalking her in Virginia. Okay, so her post alludes to that. He came to Virginia to see me. It alludes to that, but yet here is documented proof of daytime, basically like, hello, I can see the date, I can see the time, I can see what she said and what you said. There is, to make it clear, you opened up your Facebook. And then you opened up your Facebook Messenger. And I scrolled through the messages between you and Natalie through your actual Facebook on the computer. So there's no...
Yeah, this is the thing about getting my friends to take a look at this. Me having to send them screenshots of it. As they're ignoring it and dismissing it, it doesn't matter. They don't fucking care. But when you read it in its entirety, you get to see what a fucked up situation it is. Meanwhile, does Mandy Singer care that I'm still being assaulted over this? No, she doesn't. She's still pissed off that I called her a racist because she was being racist. It happens.
Wait, you could have documented that unless you couldn't. That's her Facebook. If I click on the little thing that says Natalie.
That's the thing. I couldn't see any of the messages between me and Natalie. Couldn't see what she posted on her Facebook. I couldn't see none of that. No, her and her friends had to make fake accounts to harass me on my YouTube or on my Facebook. They had to make fake accounts to harass me and stalk me on my Facebook. They had to make fake accounts to stalk and harass me in emails. It doesn't matter that I'm the victim. The things that they had to do to harass me. I say had to because, see, in order for it to be harassment, you got to follow some pretty specific guidelines. Asking someone to call off the dogs is not harassment. Telling somebody that you're being assaulted is not harassment. Asking someone to stop is not harassment. What behaviors was I asking for these people to stop? Behaviors that are obviously documented. Behaviors that obviously, although you don't give two shits about the screenshots, you'll just pretend I made them up or doctored them up. What she's talking about here is actually looking at the goddamn evidence in person. And it cost me literally hundreds of dollars just to be able to go see Mandi so I could show her that evidence. I went to all the people that I was told to go to and abused. And it is not my fault or my decision for them to disrespect me, talk over me, dismiss me, lie to me, and lie about me. Fuck every cop in America. And fuck every person who supports them. I don't support Nazi ideology, no matter what position you hold. All doctors in the United States hold Nazi ideology. The way they treat the homeless is proof of that. When we talk about the horrible things that were done to the mentally ill, how many of those things are perpetrated by our own government to this day? And you say we can't compare today's government to the Nazis? Jesus fucking Christ, that's dumb. By the way, it's almost 3 a.m. I got court in just a few hours, so I can't sleep. Meanwhile, I need somebody to help me to take some short video clips and send them to my email address so that I can take them out of my emails on this computer and put them on a USB drive so I can take it to the courthouse at 8:30. Meanwhile, I got a shit ton of USB drives. I don't know which one I'm going to have to use. Hopefully one of them's empty, but I'm going to have to find one of the recent ones that's empty or has room. Because the older ones, well, they might have evidence that I no longer have access to. Even if they're empty, there's a possibility that there's a residual something of the evidence that was on there. This is why mandated reporters have to do their job right away. Because if they don't, evidence is lost or stolen. And the predators continue to have access to their victims. Candy at the Safeway is a predator. Cynthia is a predator. Her daughter Mona is a predator. Mona's father, Cynthia's husband, is a predator. Andrew Wolnez is a predator. Krista at the Starbucks at Safeway is a predator. You do understand what makes them predatory, I hope. They did wrong shit, and when they got busted doing wrong shit, they played victim. Well, fuck you. Just like Natalie Bollinger. You want to pressure me into doing things that you're just going to use later on to pretend that I'm a horrible person for doing. I did what you asked, and you demonized me for it, you dumb cunts. You bitch that there's no good men. Like hell there ain't. Oh wait, you fucking killed us all. I don't mind that I'm not worth a fuck. That's not the part that bugs me. I don't give a shit about sex. What bothers me the most is that out of all of these people who claim to be my friend and claim to care, not a single goddamn one of them gives a shit that I'm fucking abused. Not one of them gives a shit how often I'm assaulted. Not one of them gives a shit how I'm treated by the police. Not one of them. Because none of y'all are good people. We're only 18 minutes into this goddamn Mandi video.
It takes me to her remembering Natalie Marie Facebook. So yes, that is, and I am saying for a fact.
By the way, until it was made a memorial, I couldn't see the messages between me and Natalie. Otherwise, I'd have posted them up a long time earlier. Natalie Bollinger was fucking lying to people. It took me 3 goddamn years and several $1,000s altogether in order to get Mandi's help. Mandi's help. I gave her $500 cash. See, out of the thousands of dollars that I got dumped on me all at once, just 2 days after I got kicked out of low income because I was being abused because I didn't have the fucking money to hire a goddamn lawyer. I literally had to break windows to try to get the fucking cops to do their goddamn jobs because not one goddamn person in Chapel, Nebraska ever gave a fuck about me. The people who pretended to care about me did so only for the prestige. Only for the clout.
I have seen that evidence. It exists. It is true. It is not a figment of your imagination. It is not a doctored thing. It is not a deep fake bullshit. It's not. It's an actual conversation over the course of 6 months. And during those conversations, sometimes when the conversation would pick up, thank you for coming to see me yesterday. So I can tell, okay, well, now you guys are seeing each other in person. Also, hey, I'm going to be off the internet, but you can call and text me. So there were phone calls and there were text messages between you, which you do not have that documentation because, well, who thinks that they need to record all the message? Let's record our phone calls because
let's record all the phone calls with all of our friends. But then, you know, like, that's literally what I ended up having to do.
Yeah, but back then you wouldn't have thought you had. There was no.
How long did it take? Mandi Singer, out of all of the friends that I had before Natalie was killed, Mandi Singer is literally the only one who ever tried looking at any of it in person. The only one. The only one who gave a fuck to actually look. But she didn't give a fuck to actually look. I had to give her $400 for a computer and $100. That's $20 for 5 hours of labor. $20 per hour. That was what I was offering before Natalie was killed too. $20 an hour for someone to help me with the things that I didn't know how to do myself. $20 an hour to teach me how to take screenshots. $20 an hour I was offering for that. $20 an hour. I was willing to pay people to look at evidence of the actual abuse. $20 an hour to verify that people were making fake Riley Johnson accounts to harass me and to threaten me. $20 an hour to actually listen instead of talking over me. Then there were the friends who, they weren't too greedy. No, they offered to help for whatever it is they wanted at the time. Like Kayla Trujillo wanting cigarettes. Oh, Sean, I'll help you. You don't have to pay me. Just make sure you bring a couple packs of cigarettes. It's for the house. Well, one of those packs of cigarettes went with Miss Peaches to work. And Raj smoked most of the other pack. Because I showed up with my own pack. They smoke different cigarettes than I do. So on 4 different occasions before the situation in December of 2017, 4 different times I'd gone over to Miss Kayla Trujillo's, aka Miss Peaches. 4 different times. And every one of those times she made sure that she was too busy the whole time to do anything. Was she too busy? No. She didn't have to sell drugs.
Reason. I'm not going to record every phone call between me and my friends to prove we were fucking friends.
And you shouldn't have to.
And I shouldn't have to. So just because a situation happened, which was a misunderstanding caused by a very broken phone that Alicia gave you, they knew it was broken. They obviously knew the screen wasn't going to work. If she worked for Cricket, she had weeks of training for basic technical support. And I am not speaking out my fucking neck hole or my asshole. I am speaking from my own experience of working almost 5 years for T-Mobile. Starting out as general customer care, working up to tier 3 tech rep, and dealing with in-person phone reps of not just the T-Mobile reps. I had to deal with Cricket reps. I had to deal with other providers when their devices were coming onto our service or vice versa. They call up, hey, I have a T-Mobile phone. I'm trying to get it on a Cricket service. What do I do? Or this isn't working. Have you tried these? They knew that screen didn't work. They knew there was going to be issues. So why did they give you a busted-ass phone with a screen that was questionable on a service that was no longer under your name with a number that nobody had?
That one's kind of easy to answer. The busted-ass phone that Alicia Bollinger gave me, she didn't ask Natalie Bollinger's permission to give it to me. Natalie Bollinger knew that phone was broke. And when she realized that Alicia Bollinger had given me that phone for my birthday, She looked mortified. Yeah, that was Alicia Bollinger's gift to me for my birthday. Like I said, Mandi Singer got to see it in person. Trying to do all this electronic bullshit to try to send it out to you and having to jump through a bunch of hoops to make that happen. Nobody should have to fucking do that. I bet you Natalie didn't have any problems whatsoever getting people to look at evidence in person. But the other thing is, I guarantee you she didn't show them everything. There is no reason for her predators, like Tim Beeson, to be getting a hold of me and harassing me after I left Virginia. There was no reason for anyone to assault me in Boulder, Colorado. There was no reason for anybody to slap me or push me or smack my phone out of my hand or punch me in the face. There was no reason for people to threaten to kill me and my friends and family. But it didn't matter, did it? Still doesn't. What matters is that my name was slandered to the public, so that's good enough. Well, they didn't just slander my name to the public, they also slandered it in court and denied me all of my fucking human rights, and none of you gives a shit about that. Look at how these fucking pieces of shit helped before you start throwing their help in my face. Yeah, Mandi Singer finally took a look after 3 years. She still didn't tell the cops. She still didn't try to go in with me to turn it in. And that computer that I paid for, she didn't buy a computer. She bought a $100 tablet because she wanted to spend the rest on pot. Yeah, she admitted that to me. It's because she was thanking me for giving her pot money. Well, I didn't give her pot money. I gave her money for a computer because she said she couldn't do a bunch of this stuff through her phone. And I agreed. I told her there's way too much for you to be able to do this through your phone.
The number that was on it, they transferred my number from
did
my
they?
other phone over to that one. That was the problem with not being able to contact anybody. She transferred my number onto the new phone.
Oh.
And then it was in her name. So I had to try to get the code from her to be able to do something with it.
So I'm gonna twist this scenario a little bit.
I'm going to use the bathroom real quick
Yep.
because I have to leave.
That sounds good.
See if there's any further on in.
A lot of times when people get heated, like even if you literally just told them something or literally just showed them something, as soon as they get heated, it's like their brains boil and they aren't.
Yeah. Well, also, if your voice hits certain octaves, the human brain tones it out for survival reasons, more so with male than female, but the higher octaves you like shut out. So I'm gonna twist this scenario. I'm a woman who's befriended a man, and we've had 6 months of a relationship via text messaging, phone calls, in person. We've talked for many hours. We've messaged.
I think the word should be friendship. If you say relationship,
okay,
mine's automatically.
They do. Why do they go to?
And that's why I have to go through it, and I have to explain to people. All right, when you say this, those are words that people are going to twist automatically.
See, and I guess I have my world and my people and surroundings that we all, as the whole, a relationship can be a number of things. So relationship is a blanket term. You and I have a relationship. I have a relationship with my dog. Doesn't mean I'm fucking them.
And that's something that I've explained many times. But then they always go back to that, well, you know, you wanted more with her, you wanted this, you wanted that. And
never once in my messages did I see that. And I saw you in the Facebook messages. You said, you are just my friend. You made very clear. Never once did you respond when she was flirting or when she was like telling you that she knew she was in love and she was in love. You didn't say, "Oh my God, I felt the same way," and lead that conversation into more. You did not do that.
She did type to me.
Yes, she sure did.
That's not stuff that I imagined.
Yeah, no.
That's what a lot of people, they wanted to take little bits and pieces and chop them out. And, oh, well, this.
Take them out of context.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, going back to my scenario thing. So, I'm a woman, a young woman, say, and I befriend a man, and we have months of a platonic friendship going on, and we become platonically, emotionally close. We're best friends, confide in each other, things we went through in our past, what our damages are, what we struggle with, and my male friend moves across the country. And during the time, hey, I'm going to move. Shit's not good here. My family's not good. My ex-girlfriend's fucking crazy psycho, treating me bad. I need to relocate. I'm going to go live across the country with my other family. But I really need you to come visit me there. I can't do it unless you come visit. And she says that in her Facebook messages, that she doesn't think she's going to be able to do this unless she knows that you come and see her. So my male friend says that, and I said, dude, it's a deal. I will come and visit you because I know it's good for your emotional state. I know you're suicidal, you're depressed. Let me be supportive. And I bust my ass, and I hustle, and I take odd jobs, and I get a car, and it takes me a couple of months, but I'm communicating, hey, I'm trying. Are you okay? Let me check in. And, yep, go ahead, come on out. Oh, by the way, I say, hey, I'm almost there. Where do I meet you at? And my male friend says, well, you can't come to my family's home. They're weird as fuck. Okay, cool. I totally get that. But he didn't tell me not to come to Virginia. Just can't come to my family's home. Are you here yet? Are you almost here? Where are you at right now? And I keep, he keeps asking me that. And I tell him. And then I show up. And his brother's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to do you a solid. Let me get you a better phone because you just got this flip phone that doesn't have MapQuest or Google Maps or whatnot. And you really need this technology. And I'm like, no, I'm good with my flip phone. I'm really not okay with that. Oh, no. I have to do this for you. So here's this broken flip phone. The screen's questionable. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to transfer the number you own on this service onto Cricket with this broken-ass phone and put it under my name. From society's perspective, those two men have just become my predators and threaten, like, you don't take somebody's phone and pressure them until they give in to allow you to own the number, pay the bill, and use a phone that doesn't function correctly because that is a control tactic. That is a solid control tactic. And I'm not saying Natalie did that because she's not the one who did it. It was Alicia. There was, I don't care what, oh, it was good intention, I was trying to help. Giving somebody a phone with a broken screen is not better than a flip phone that works. And then when that phone with the broken screen starts malfunctioning and you're getting these phone calls hang up because your number is the last number that was used on that phone. And that person is trying to say, hey, listen, the phone's malfunctioning. And instead you're replying with, oh my God, it's your true colors. Look at you. You're a horrible person. Well, of course I'm going to go over and be like, hey, can we talk this out? I'm trying to resolve this. This is not my intention. The phone is broke. Can we make peace? Can we stop? Well, I get there and I have to turn around and my fucking car died in the middle of a highway. What is psycho about laying on the horn so people don't hit you? And you had very clearly told her that you were dehydrated. You told her what your financial situation was. You told her, I've been sitting in this hot car, what was it, 19 hours? For 19 hours.
That was on my birthday.
Yeah.
And when I finally was
That was on my birthday.
my car broke down, that was on the 23rd. And my hospital paperwork shows that I was dehydrated.
Yeah, there's no arrest record.
Exactly.
So we have in Natalie's Facebook post on the 13th of December where she fails to say that when you came out to Virginia to see her, that she invited you, and she was insistent over a period of months. When are you coming? I need you to come. I mean, from what you said, I don't think there's the actual documented proof of the conversation where she told you she was suicidal and wrapped a tree. That was a verbal conversation.
Right. And, that's something, the only reason that I have the evidence that I have now is because, it was on my Facebook.
Yeah.
That's something that, it's not something that you're recording intentionally, but it's still there. And that is my benefit.
Like, she was constant. Like, I need you here. Please come here. I feel like killing. I'm suicidal. So, red flag number 1. She alludes to the fact that you came out to see her, not that she invited you to come see her. And then she says that when she asked you to stop, you proceeded to do hundreds of phone calls and texts and emails. What was it she said? Pretty much every day.
Yep.
But yet, there is no documented proof of that. And go back to my own personal experience, which gives me my perspective, not trying to make it about me. With Mariah, the first time when I had all that blowout with her and the shit she sent, my daughter, when I posted that up on Facebook, what did I include? Screenshots. This last year when she contacted me, it was right after you had visited me, which was weird. It was like that psycho universe crap, that weirdness, right? Yeah. And I responded to her, and then she responded back. What did I do when I put it up on Facebook and I let everybody know, hey, this person under this name, da-da-da. And I included screenshots. So if I'm going to accuse somebody of harassing me, I would include screenshots. She went to the point of including a screenshot of your fake Facebook profile. So where's the screenshots of the harassment and the call logs and the text messages and her saying, leave me alone, because that's what I have done. Look, here's the message I have said. Do not contact me again. Leave me alone. And then, again, side note, I had a situation with my first wife. And we were broke up, and she decided to move into the loft apartment directly above my apartment in an old Victorian house. And it was bad, and she wouldn't leave me alone. And one day at work, I get pulled off the phones out to the lobby, and I get served with a fucking restraining order by the sheriff. And so I get everything prepared. In the restraining order, I can see what she's accusing me of. I go to court that day. She provides her proof. She has her witness. I get my chance. I show the actual phone to the judge of her flipping me off, all her messages. And in the end, the judge turned to her and said, I am denying you the restraining order. Miss Singer, I recommend that you go downstairs and file a restraining order against Miss Hull. Miss Singer, please sit in the courtroom while we escort Miss Hull and her witness out of the courthouse so you can go down and file that restraining order. I decided not to because I'm a grown-ass adult and I just ignored the bitch. Or the woman. Oops. I ignored her. But, see, I've been on both sides. Where's the proof? She had 14 days of talking shit about you, getting people worked up, without once providing solid proof. If she had shown proof to Tim Beeson, where's the proof?
She'd actually been working people up for over a year.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying from the time she did the Facebook post to her death.
Yep.
So there's that, and then she did ask you to stop. That's what you've told me, because it was a phone conversation.
Well, there's also some of the stuff that I had sent you. Like, I sent you a lot. It makes sense why you haven't been able to go through it all.
I don't think I've seen the emails that you've talked about.
That's the thing, is that I do have those. And, what I wanted to do.
So when I left
Haven't had a chance yet.
I should probably
With
explain this
the
part.
conversations between
Because there was a phone conversation that Natalie and I had.
The stuff between him and the
Let me
stuff
pause it.
between.
So, Natalie Bollinger, when I was still in Virginia, this is after I got my car stuck in the road and had to honk my horn so nobody ran into me and ended up dead. Yeah, that's right. I was stuck in the fucking busy part of the road on a blind corner with a bunch of fucking trees hanging over the road. Yeah, somebody very easily could have fucking run into me. God damn cramps, that shit fucking hurts. Anyway, I went to explain what was going on with the phone. And when I went to explain what was going on with the phone, I got my car stuck and I was dehydrated. And yes, Natalie was aware of that. Mandi Singer did read the messages between Natalie and I. How many of you did that? When Natalie first disappeared, I posted up all of the messages between Natalie Bollinger and I made sure that every single one of those messages overlapped. And I posted them up in order. And Facebook algorithms disorganized them. And then people pretended that I intentionally didn't post them up in order and that there's a bunch missing. No, there was every single fucking goddamn word between Natalie and I. It only took me 3 goddamn years to get one of my so-called friends to take a look. And although her and I have this here talk, she never came forward to the cops with me. Ever. Never made a single effort. That computer that I bought for her, yeah, just the whole time I was there, she was busy using it for her stuff. I understand her stuff. I understand that a bunch of stuff come down on her all at once. But that ain't my fault. And the way I was treated because of it ain't my fault either.
Me and her at the same time frame, which you've covered all of that.
And why are there big old chunks out of Tim Beeson's screenshots of a conversation with her?
Probably him claiming he's going to kill me.
He claimed he was going to kill me a lot. He kept on calling me, telling me he was going to kill people that I wasn't friends with anymore. Telling me he was going to kill Miss Jerry. What an idiot. And why is that? Because when I was typing about the abuse that I was enduring in Virginia, and typing about the emotional experience of it, and how badly those quote-unquote friends had hurt me, gone out of their way to gang up and bully me, now how many of my so-called friends ever came forward about that? None of them. Amy Valkyrie was a part of that argument. Later on, she wanted to pretend like my older brother Eric is a child molester. Well, you know what? Eric decided he's just going to believe anything that he's told about me. So I'm just going to believe anything I'm told about Eric. Amy Valkyrie says that he's a child molester. Sherman Watson also claims that he's a child molester. Yep. Goddamn, we live in a disgusting fucking world, don't we? People's idea of helping me is fucking bullying me. Talking over me, dismissing me. You know what I really need right now? I can use my telephone to send some of the evidence that I have. I can use my telephone to send it to somebody else's telephone. I need that person to forward it to my email address so I can take it off of my computer and put it onto a goddamn USB drive. But how am I going to get that help when Bryn is too fucked up and Claire is too fucked up? With what Claire's going through, yeah, she's fucked up emotionally. For good reason. But her ex put her and her kids through, along with Tillamook here. She has every right to be emotionally overwhelmed, same as I do. But unlike me, she was able to go home. Estes Park is her Boulder. Did she go to Estes Park and get assaulted just for going home?
He's done that a lot. I mean, he'd also been calling me and threatening to kill me.
Well, it says in there, I've got a loaded gun too, just in case.
Yeah, and you know, that when he first contacted me, like, I'd already been threatened and harassed by a lot of people.
A woman will pretend that you will hurt her every time she gets busted lying to people. If she doesn't get what she wants, she will have no problems lying to every single person that you know, because this is what we've taught women to be in this country. If we teach them to be lying little bitches, they don't have to take responsibility like a grown-ass adult. When I left Virginia, Natalie called me. I sent her a text message after I got out of the hospital. I let her know, hey, you know what? I can understand if your family wants to take shit fucked up. If you ask me not to speak to you again, I'll never speak to you again. She said, Sean, I love you, but my family is afraid of you. So don't talk to me. And I was fine with that. I got back to Boulder. I was still fine with it. I was glad to be back in Boulder. But I didn't get to stay that way because my first day I got fucking assaulted for going home to Boulder. Because the rumors got to Boulder before I did. I wasn't even out of Virginia before Natalie and Alicia Bollinger were slandering my name to Maddie Boa. And Maddie Boa ran around making all sorts of false accusations to all her little fucking druggie customers. Not that it fucking matters, right? I deserve it for being given a broken phone, for breaking down in the middle of the fucking road, for honking my horn so nobody gets fucking killed. I deserve this for being dehydrated. I deserve this for doing what Natalie and Alicia asked. Yeah, my first day back in Boulder was fucking horrible. It was still October of 2016. I tried to ignore the abuse. Over 2 weeks of that bullshit. No, I didn't stick around in fucking Boulder, Colorado. I fucking left. I went to Chapel, Nebraska, and that didn't make any difference. Alicia Bollinger had already given, or sorry, Natalie Bollinger had already given out my email address and my phone number. Not that my phone number made any difference. When I did get a new phone, I sent Natalie, Alicia, and Maddie my new phone number. When she wants to pretend that I made dozens of accounts, no, I made 2. One of them to ask for help stopping the assaults, and the other one so that I could destroy my own Facebook before blowing my fucking head off. Guess which one she used to try to pretend I was stalking her? The one I made to destroy my Facebook before blowing my fucking head off. Oh, and by the way, that's her last public post. And in the screenshot on that, you can see in the bottom, it says, I made this account to destroy my Facebook. And it didn't work. The reason I was trying to destroy my Facebook is because Joanna Taylor Smith was threatening harm against Natalie, Alicia, and Maddie. And I didn't want her having any. Before you go pulling that bullshit that the person is not being fucking abused. See, it's not being assaulted that made me want my life to end. It wasn't being raped by her own dad that made Natalie Bollinger cut herself to ribbons and wish that her life would end. It's how she was treated when she came forward by the people who are supposed to love her. It was the way that the people who claimed to love me treated me when I came forward. See, it's not the abuse that leads to suicide. It's the neglect. It's our friends and family members showing us that they don't care who hurts us. Because they're not really friends. They're not really family. I've been taken advantage of my entire life for being different. And I'm told that it's my fault for being different. Well, guess what? I'm not a rapist. I'm not a child molester. And I'm not a fucking murderer. See, Mandi Singer, although she finally did something that I had to beg people to do for years, please take a look in person. Stop making me jump through all these hoops to try to find internet and find a plugin. Stop making me jump through impossible hoops on the streets to get you to look at fucking evidence. When I finally get people to show up in person, if they show up in person, I try to show them the evidence that they want to make impossible to see. Fuck this goddamn country and everyone in it. Every goddamn one of you.
And was not going to Boulder, was completely staying out of the area. As far as our messages go, I let her know what was going on, why people were harming me, and what it was over. And I explained to her, hey, these people are treating me like I'm some sort of a sex offender. And I didn't do any of that shit to me. When I contacted her mom, it's not like I was...
You were not...
Her saying, "Oh, I'm going to kill your kids" or something.
No, you didn't say that at all. You were just simply, hey, I'm the autistic guy. I'm trying to resolve this. Even like in the messages between you and Natalie, when she asked to meet you at Starbucks, you had said, I am trying to get help. You were owning what you did. You were being accountable for that, and you were doing everything you could to fix the situation.
And she and her friends were doing everything they could to prevent that. And that's the biggest thing, is if I'd have been able to take screenshots, I could have just sent it to her and said, hey, knock it off. Please let them know that didn't happen. But instead, these people were egging her up, saying he's a psycho, he's a this, he's a that.
They were whispering in her ear, feeding off of her fear.
And when I show you the Tim Beeson stuff, like, he texted me almost as much in 30 days as she.
The thing is that the people who fed her drugs and raped her are the very same people that were fucking calling me and threatening to kill me and my friends and family. You are out of your goddamn minds.
He had texted me in,
See, I haven't seen those ones yet either. Yeah. So there are going to be a lot more.
And then there's one of the emails, because I did send her emails. It wasn't close to every day. There were 6 days total, and they were after assaults or when I was going to go to Boulder to go see people. And, I want to be able to see them without being threatened, harassed, or assaulted.
Uh-huh. Did she ever reply?
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, I haven't seen those yet.
But the thing is, like, I was trying.
She did reply by ignoring the abuse and threatening me. By playing victim. That's how she fucking replied when I let her know I was being fucking assaulted. I got lots of people that I know in my life. Not a goddamn one of them wants to listen. Not a goddamn one of them wants to look at evidence. And not a goddamn one of them has the fucking balls to speak up. A good person would have helped me to stop the abuse or blown my head off. I am all for mercy killing. Natalie Bollinger's entire family are predators. She had every right to want someone to blow her fucking head off. And so do I. Fucking cowards. Want to talk about America, huh? What great fucking Americans you are, huh? You're all fucking trash.
Explain the situation that I was being abused, and that's the biggest thing about sending that to you, is that I had hoped that you had seen that, but then there's also the fact that there is so much. Now, the messages between her and I, it shows that I was trying to get help, that I was being accused, that I was letting her know that I was being accused. And
the messages between Mandi and I for 3 years show that I reached out to her to try to get help. That she did the same thing everybody else does. Talk about her. Make it about her. You get to hear in this one right here, how she's not making it all about her. About the parts where she does make it about her, she's doing a reversal. If it was her in my shoes and a male friend in Natalie's shoes, we're 36 minutes into it. We got 45 minutes left of it. And this video is already close to 2 hours long.
She did threaten me with the cops, and I told her to give them my number. I was trying to go to the police.
Yep.
I had been to the police repeatedly by this point. I was hoping that she would give the police my number and we could deal with this like adults instead of having every...
Problem is, the police wouldn't deal with it like fucking adults, and neither would Natalie. Natalie was fucking embarrassed, and just like any woman in America, when she's embarrassed, she thinks that it entitles her to destroy your life. You get to hear Rihanna. What was Rihanna's excuse? Rihanna's excuse for the bullshit that she did was that she was angry. Well, why was she angry? Because she was beating on 2 little girls that weren't hers, and I fucking told on the dumb cunt. Don't beat on fucking kids, you dumb cunt. By the way, that dumb cunt is dead. Just like Natalie, the dumb cunt is dead. And they ain't the only 2 dead cunts in this situation. Christine Bouhit abandoned her son at birth. Yeah, that dumb cunt's dead too. Dumb enough to believe that I wouldn't defend myself. Is that what made Christine Bouhit a cunt? Is that what made Rihanna Ingersoll a cunt? Is that what made Natalie Bollinger a cunt? No, it made them cunts. Is that all 3 of them sold a false narrative that I'm abused over to this day. Because they were angry. Why was Natalie angry? Because after all that abuse, I spoke up publicly about her drug issues, her drug addictions, and her abuse. Why was Rihanna Ingersoll angry? Because I told the truth in public about her alcoholism, about her beating on children. After all that I went through and all that Mandi put me through, she threw me away because I didn't agree with a racist post. Just like Tyler Frericks, Jennifer Frericks, Donnie Sparks, their older brother, Jerry Sparks, their mother, Lana Engeline and Amanda Engeline, all of them in that racist post.
Everybody get the fuck up! Up, Slime! Wake up! Wake the fuck up! How's that fucking sound, stupid? Get up! Right fucking now!
That's why I can't.
Get up! Hello! Hello! Wake the fuck up, you dumb motherfuckers! Time to fucking wake up around here! Wake the fuck up! All you stupid son of a fucking bitches! Dumbass motherfucker! Get the fuck up! Every fucking body! Get up! Hello, get up! Hello!
I get woken up by that at least 3 times a night. Most of the time, after the first one, I'm not actually sleeping. I'm laying there going, oh my God, he's going to do it again. I hope he doesn't do it again. I hope I can get some sleep. I'm exhausted. It's almost 4 a.m. The reason that mandated reporters have to turn it in right away is for the safety and integrity of the evidence and the witness. If you go back through all of the telephone calls, you'll notice that not a single mandated reporter did their job. They didn't do their jobs before Natalie was killed either. That means there's at least 30 people, who can be charged with manslaughter in connection with Natalie Bollinger's death. Her death was absolutely preventable.
Friggin' crackhead in Boulder coming down, well, the younger crackheads, because meth heads,
the addicts.
All friends of Maddie Boa's, and Maddie Boa has this reputation already for
Yep.
doing this kind of stuff.
She is well known for that. I never.
Oh shit. Oh, God damn it.
With Ellie about it, she.
The biggest thing about sending that to you is that I had hoped that you had seen that, but then there's also the fact that there is so much of it. Now, the messages between her and I, it shows that I was trying to get help, that I was being accused, that I was letting her know that I was being accused, and she did threaten me with the cops, and I told her to give them my number. I was trying to go to the police.
Yep.
I had been to the police repeatedly by this point. I was hoping that she would give the police my number and we could deal with this like adults instead of having every crackhead in Boulder coming down. Well, the younger crackheads, because meth heads, the
addicts.
All friends of Maddie Boa's, and Maddie Boa has this reputation already for doing this kind of stuff.
She is well known for that. I don't recall ever personally meeting her, but her name is very familiar. And when I had spoke with Ellie about it, she confirmed for me that Maddie is known for causing problems and lying and manipulating. And I had something and it just escaped my mind. And so going back to what started at the beginning of the conversation, I really thought, Sean, I was going to be able to just show that you were a fucking lunatic and that you were schizophrenic. I'm not a professional. I'm not fit to diagnose people, but I have very extensive experience with schizophrenics in my personal life and with schizoaffective. And never once have you said, this is happening to me, and it has not been that you've shared with me so far, that when I say, okay, show me the proof, give me the receipts, you're like, here they are, look.
That's right.
And there's so much. And the most, what gets me is, okay, you just got accused after over a year of being harassed and assaulted, being called a predator, being called a pedophile, which is the worst thing a person can be accused of in this world, much less on the streets, especially on the streets.
You will literally get killed on the street.
Yeah, you will get. For all of that, so you have all this stress because you know it's not true. You're trying to get help. Nobody will listen to you. She goes missing. Not to mention, hey, let's squash this. Oh, nope, haha, lying. Here's the cops to serve you with a restraining order. Your emotional and mental state would be at one that and the police are not releasing to the public through a public statement that you have been clear as a person. And I'm not saying like I'm psychotic, schizophrenic. I would have of the fact that I had been gaslighted for over a year and nobody will listen to me. And now it has been 4 years in. She already had a plan in motion. She had already had shown that she was. I have seen her where she said, "I want to die." I've considered really committing suicide. For her to say, knowing that you weren't there for her, has stopped her from doing that. I never once told fuck a minute. I mean, if it's a stalking situation, it'd be, dude, you're pushing me to want to fuck. Fine. Can sit there and continue to accuse you of these horrible things based off of a post from a very disturbed young woman with no documentation other than a screenshot to show who you were, and ignore everything else. I mean, you're not like, oh, we were friends. Well, where's the proof? Oh, well, we were friends. You proved it over and over. And I, so far, have been unable to prove that you are schizophrenic in my mind, mentally unstable in my mind, and making this shit up. I listened to the recording with Marcia. Even she says, this is very serious. You have this proof. It is happening to you, but you got about a 10% chance of pursuing this because of the way the system's set up.
Yep, and she's licensed to do that.
And she is. She's a licensed person who said, you are not schizophrenic. And she also goes in and explains, and this is something that anybody who is going to be delving into mental health or accusing somebody, they need to educate themselves. PTSD can manifest as manic behavior. It can manifest as paranoid behavior. You know, like I am not paranoid. I have mental health providers backing me up on what my diagnoses are and where I'm at in life. And my own therapist has said, you are not a paranoid person. You have paranoia because of the trauma you've been through. And you have not, like, I have not, my perception that I had a safe place to be, my perception that I had these people I had known from the streets as my family that had had my back in the past were my safe place was blown. My experience was one that I could not grasp actually ever happening in reality. So when it happened to me in reality, my brain short-circuited basically, was like, this is not real, this is not real, yes it is. And it's called cognitive dissonance, where you can't match what's in your head and what's in reality because of trauma. It doesn't make me a paranoid delusional person. It doesn't make me schizophrenic. It doesn't make you schizophrenic.
It's kind of like when you've had the same guy assault you every time you walk by him for a week, and then, you know, you're paranoid to leave your house because you don't want to be assaulted by the guy, and people are like, oh, well, you're just crazy.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's happening. Please take a look at it. And when you've got the evidence of it, yeah, I have evidence that, you know, the first and second day I wasn't able to show the evidence because I didn't think that I needed to. The first time that it happened, I was hoping he wouldn't do it again. The second time it happened, I realized I had to report it. The third, fourth, and fifth time I tried to report it, you know, people needed to listen and they needed to look. But then, you know, on the last day when you're like, hey, I need help. I really need help. I've been trying to get help. I've documented already. Please help. And people are like, oh, well, you're just crazy. No, I have the proof.
When you ended up being, like, after her body was found, before they released the information about Joseph Lopez and how Natalie truly died, and I'm watching that video, you are not a person who was guilty. You are a person who was grieving. Okay, you were grieving. That is grief that people see, that I see.
And people wouldn't let me. A lot of the people that I went to for help were people that they've done some horrible things while I was in Virginia. And those are the people who offered to help me afterwards. They were not my friends anymore for a reason. No. And when they spoke up, I wanted to trust them. I wanted to believe them. But then they did the same things that they had done before.
And I've been through that with the people on the streets. The same thing. I thought,
I'll help you, but
I thought Red and Cowboy and Tinkerbell were my family and my friends, and they were going to help protect me. And then when Red told Terry where I was at so he could find me, and then Terry, in a fit of rage, not that moment, he found me and got me back into his clutches, but at a moment when it was to his advantage to gaslight me and bully me and traumatize me further, he brought it up and said the conversation verbatim. And the way my perception, like it felt like I had just shifted into an alternate reality because I had to accept that those three people who had promised to have my back and help protect me against this person who was abusing me and in all ways possible were actually helping him to abuse me further. And that kind of that's traumatic in itself. And when even now when I think about it, I'm just like it broke me. It broke me because my safety people were helping my abuser. When I went to and I told you this, the first time Terry laid hands on me, and I finally got away from him. Like when he woke me up screaming at me, I got up, grabbed my purse, my little wallet purse with my ID and everything in it, because I always knew you keep that close and don't let people get it. And I had to pee, so I ran off over to a distance away, dropped my pants to pee because we're camping out in the middle of a field. And he came up and snatched me up while I was squatting peeing. And I had bruises on me. And so when I got away from him again and I ran to the Walmart, because it was 24 hours, I ran in there and I was like, please call the police. I was just assaulted. I need help. And of course, I am a wreck. I am hysterical. I got ripped out of my fucking sleep with somebody physically abusing me and verbally abusing me. And because of my emotional and mental state when that happened, and the fact that when the cops showed up and Terry was outside of the Walmart and he was able to be calm and collected, do you think the police listened to me and did anything to him? No. They threatened me with legal charges and then put me in the fucking ARC in Boulder. Not the mental hospital where I asked to go, because I knew that I needed some help because of what had just happened. And I knew if I was allowed to go to a psychiatric unit, that court mandated reporters would be required to report this. And once I was calm and in a better frame of mind and to talk to like a therapist and stuff, they would be able to help me appropriately, get me away from him. No, they threw me in the detox side after threatening me with legal charges. And then after that, every time the cops were notified of any issues with me and Terry, it was automatic. She has mental health issues. She's not sane, and he's the one who's sane. And it's an actual, I can't remember the term, it's an actual form of abuse where the abuser stays calm and the victim becomes irate and overworked.
That's gaslighting. Gaslighting.
And there's another term they use too, because gaslighting is altering reality, period. And that's what they did to you when you are having an emotional moment. Beyond that, I have to be careful with my words, because like you said, people are going to be like, oh, you had an emotional breakdown, that means that you're less than human and you don't deserve the human. No. You were in deep grief and you're trying to deal with everything that's happening. And I don't care if you are the most stable person with the most loving family, the most perfect upbringing. You were always encouraged, you have safety all around you. If you've just been through this, you're going to fucking fall apart.
Yeah.
And instead of giving you the support and the help you need, the police victimized you, brutalized you, and perpetuated the idea that you were a perpetrator, a predator, and a mentally ill person. No, you are not mentally ill.
Well, I know
you are traumatized.
See, I didn't know Terry was Terry. I knew him as Turtle.
You knew him as Turtle, yeah. We just clarified that.
Like, Turtle had a reputation. He was KOS.
Yeah.
Which means that if anybody in Boulder saw him, they were supposed to take him up the mountain and get rid of him. Mm-hmm. And, that's the thing, is this street justice is completely different than what you guys,
It's
really
different than housing justice.
Yes, because, see, if you live in a house, the cops might actually listen. They might actually care.
Oh, yeah.
But, when you're homeless and, you
they don't want to hear you.
Whose job is to, number one, keep the children away from the predators, and number two, keep the predators away from the children.
Keep the children away from the junkies, and keep the junkies away from the children. Keep the drugs away from the children. Make sure, like when we were on the streets in Boulder, You know, we would sit at the end of Pearl Street along the wall outside of Old Chicago. Anytime we saw children coming, we would yell, "Baby on block," and that meant put your cigarettes out. If you're smoking weed, you put it out. If you're drinking, you hide it. Stop and act decent and respectable. Stop cussing. Stop talking about your sexcapades. Stop. Be a human being for a moment instead of your normal feral self, because you do lose, at least in my experience, adjusting to the survival on the streets versus how you live in a house. You become almost feral. Like, it's, and I'm one who can speak because I'm not somebody who, and I'm not saying this to put you down, you know that. I didn't grow up in foster care. I didn't grow up with CPS yanking me back and forth. I didn't grow up with a mom and dad who used me as a weapon and a tool, and I ended up with mom who's this and that happened, and then dad who did this and that to me. I didn't grow up with that. Yes, I grew up with a single mother who worked her, well, she wasn't single from the time I was 3. I had a stepdad. And she was a stay-at-home mom, and we literally had cookies and milk after school, and my stepdad was a firefighter. He was a respected man in the community. I had a very stable, normal childhood, and then when they divorced when I was 10, my mom went to school for her CNA. She worked 2 fucking jobs. She busted her asses to try to support us, but I still had my mother. I had my mother all the way up until I decided for my own mental health to cut contact off. We took a decade break. That was necessary for our relationship. But I hit the streets, having come from this background where I had my family, I had my support, I had children, I had a career, I had my own apartments, I bought my own car, I had a good credit record. I was a acceptable contributing member of society, and then family structure broke down and things happened, and I ended up on the streets. And when I got exposed to that level, I lost my civilization. And I'm not saying that we're all wild feral people, but survival takes over. I am in a survival mode, which means the minute that sky gets light, I got to get up, I got to pack up, I got to move, no matter what the temperature is. I would be so tired, it would be hard for me to get to the places to get food or get to the places to get shower or get into a shelter, because shelters are not humane. They are some of the, I've never been to prison. I don't know what that whole thing entails.
I do want to pause
Yeah.
for a second. Like,
But
all right, the
anyways,
one
I got
thing
off on a tangent.
You do that a lot, and I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when you're
ADHD squirrel.
Exactly.
Squirrel.
Now with Natalie, obviously, I had tried to run her and her sister off. That's not any big surprise.
Yeah, she says that in the Facebook messages where you had come across her and her sister in the sleeping bags with Emery and Arturo. She says Emery and Arturo, but and then she had said that her sister had been drugged and that she wanted you to know nothing had happened, but she thanked you for doing that. And she said, I had no business being out on those streets, and that she was selling heroin for her dad, and that after that time.
Get up! Get up!
Ain't no sleeping through that.
Structure broke down and things happened, and I ended up on the streets. And when I got exposed to that level, I lost my civilization. And I'm not saying that we're all wild feral people,
Obviously, I
but
won't be
survival
sleeping
takes
tonight.
over. I am in a survival mode, which means the minute that sky gets light, I got to get up, I got to pack up, I got to move, no matter what the temperature is. I would be so tired, it would be hard for me to get to the places to get food or get to the places to get shower or get into a shelter, because shelters are not humane. They are something, I've never been to prison. I don't know what that whole thing entails.
I do want to pause
Yeah.
for a second.
But
All right, the
anyways, I got off on a tangent.
you do that a lot, and I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when you're
ADHD squirrel.
Exactly.
Squirrel.
Now with Natalie, obviously, I had tried to run her and her sister off. And
Mhm.
Yeah, she says that in the Facebook messages where you had come across her and her sister in the sleeping bags with Emery and Arturo. She says Emery and Arturo, but and then she had said that her sister had been drugged and that she wanted you to know nothing had happened, but she thanked you for doing that. And she said, I had no business being out in those streets, and that she was selling heroin for her dad, and that after that time when you guys saw each other, she disappeared because you had said I hadn't seen you down at the park after that. And she said, well, that's because my dad had been hitting Alicia and we got put back into foster care. And then there's an email that I have seen and I can verify it's from her. You have it deep baked the freaking IPs and headers where she talks about how when her and Alicia ended up with their father again around 13, 14, that he was too friendly. Okay, too friendly is code for inappropriate physical attention towards her. I have too friendly towards sorry, it's an oxymoron. My dad was too friendly. That don't go together. That does not mash ever. So and she talks about it. Yes, I have seen that evidence. I can verify that it is 100% true communication, not doctored and faked. And she thanked you for that. She said, I had no business out there, and I thank you for that.
when I show you her sister's message, her sister says the same thing. But I'm going to actually show you that because, I don't want people to verify stuff that they haven't been able to see.
Yeah, I have.
There's some of the stuff that that I sent to you, and I hoped you've been able to see, and you hadn't yet. So I mean,
I've seen.
and that stuff, of course, when you do see it, you'll understand that it's a much different situation. And the more you see, the more you realize.
I've seen some of the screenshots of people threatening to kill you right after her body was found. And I got into the one of that one woman you told me, I can't remember her name, that you went to stay at, and that's when you got served with the restraining order and you had to leave. Search and see. I haven't watched all the videos. I did watch the video with Marcia, with your session with Marcia, and your commentary with that, which was good. And that's the thing is you can't.
Chelsea Worthing.
It is not appropriate, okay, or in any way of a logical sound mind to sit and call somebody something that you do not have proof for. I cannot sit there and say so-and-so is a psychopath if I don't have proof. I could say, I think they're this way, but I don't know. And you have proof. You're not you're not mentally ill.
I've never been allowed to show any of this evidence in court.
Yeah.
They've literally used the mentally ill tag.
But you're not mentally ill.
To prevent me from showing this evidence. And it's not like I don't have it. But then again, I mean, after 5 years, how big is my pile? It's not little. How long do you think it would take just to go through all of the paperwork?
It would take me a couple of months to thoroughly read it. First, I'd have to organize it, and it would take a while. This is a.
And we organized, not you, but my sister helped me organize it last week.
Mhm.
But I was supposed to come here to get help, and then there was the issue with the sheriff's department, and then my sister helped me because I had already packed it all up to bring it over here, and I had to unpack it, and then my sister helped me to organize it, and then I had.
By the way, rather than actually helping me, my sister just wanted to sort papers. The things that Mandi Singer did are the things that I literally paid my sister nearly $1,000, over $1,000 altogether to help me with. Between her and her friend Ed, it cost me over $2,000 and an entire computer worth of evidence. That was just a week before I was at Mandi's making this recording. Yeah. I paid my sister $700. $700 to come help me that day. 700. And all she wanted to do is fuck around with Ed and Ed's mom and make it into hangout time. If somebody pays me 700 fucking bucks to do a goddamn job, I'm gonna do the fucking job, not hang out with my friends. If my sister had come to me and said, Sean, I'm being abused, I need help turning it in, I wouldn't ask for money. Why do I offer people money to help me? Because I need the help right away. I'm willing to pay for that help right away, but I can't pay for that help now, can I? I've already been ripped off for every dollar I had. And how dare I speak up about my predators? How dare I tell on them? How dare I try to get you to take a look at the evidence that Mandi got to see? How dare I ask you to look at evidence instead of assaulting me? You are all complete and total trash for getting on my channel and watching this for entertainment. You get to hear the environment that I'm in. The fact is, this environment is still safer than out at Helping Hands. Because at least here I can leave when I need to. At least here I can walk to a store. At least here I can see my evidence with my own two eyes. And although I can't keep people from coming in and out of here and going through my stuff like they've done repeatedly, at least I know that they don't have the time or opportunity to come in and steal all of it before I get back. I'm tired of being abused. My little sister wasn't interested in helping me. She just wanted the money so she could go get some more meth. And I'm fucking sickened by it.
To leave town for my own safety. So then I get here, and of course we haven't had a chance to go through and organize it. Now I'm overwhelmed with even looking at it. I mean, I have panic attacks just looking.
Oh yeah, and so as a commentary or as a what I see, what I've seen kind of thing, under Natalie's post about you on the 13th of December, where you have continued to make posts, those are not posts stalking her. Those are posts showing evidence. Those are videos where you are talking about, like, you have it in there. This is what it is. And you're putting that under there because people who are running with this post of hers and going in a completely different direction, you're providing documentation to show that they're wrong. This is the proof, but nobody's bothering to read that. You know, where else are you supposed to put this?
Mostly just threats. Now, there's a lot of stuff here, like, all right, the conversations that I have with several of the other witnesses, you know, they're telling me, hey, I've been harassed like this. I'm having my life threatened. I'm having to deal with this. These people have hijacked other sites that I have made. Her friends and her family and this, you know, multiple people that are involved in this, you know, these people
Kara Johnson Miles.
Conversations, and I keep posting them up there, and people keep threatening me, they keep harassing me, and, you know, of course, I don't go complaining about every single one, but every once in a while I'll go in and I'll pick one and I'll say, see, this is harassment according to Facebook policy. And
Yep.
of course, it does show it's true. But people were trying to do that to me, to try to destroy my Facebook and all of the evidence that's on it. And that evidence is still there. I've had to make most of that private so that people don't try to destroy it. There's a post that I made about one woman who ended up just pulling all sorts of psycho head games, where I made posts saying that I couldn't kill her predator, that I could not kill her predator, and I got a Facebook ban for that. There's also, and you know, all of this stuff I've got to go through, you know, and dig it out. Thank goodness with Natalie's Facebook Messenger, I was able to actually open up the Facebook Messenger and show you that, because it's easy to navigate and easy to get to, and I've got experience with it. But then there's a lot of other stuff, like in order to take out my core paperwork, I got to go through all of these bags and find out which ones in specific are with the situation with Leslie Snell and Scott Costa and William Barr and Robert Warning. And then, of course, did I show you that he's a registered sex offender?
Yes, you did.
And that's the thing. I mean, these cops are literally helping a sex offender who has repeatedly harassed, threatened, and assaulted me. They have been made aware of the situation on multiple occasions. I have the recordings with them on these multiple occasions. But then, of course, what they write down in their paperwork, they try to make it sound like they have to come see me all the time because I'm a bad person. No, I've been trying to turn in the crimes that have committed against me. And I have so many of them, you know. Like,
My big concern is nowhere ever in my personal experience, nor in my experience as the daughter of a correctional officer, has anybody involved with law enforcement on any level, the judicial system on any level, allow a registered sex offender into their home and have a relationship with them. Like, that blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. Because, again, my personal experience as the daughter of a law enforcement officer, the minute it was revealed if somebody was a sex offender, it was, you don't associate with them. You're done. They're not your friend. They're not your family. You have a separation. Because otherwise, if you are a law enforcement officer or somebody who works in the judicial system having Thanksgiving dinner with a fucking child molester who's registered, it kind of starts looking a little suspicious, and then there's no clear objectivity when things have to come up in court or things come up legally against this person, especially when there's evidence of that abuse and you're covering it up.
God damn it. Fucking volume died again. Fucking piece of shit. God fucking damn it. On the bright side, there's only about 20 minutes left.
A law enforcement officer, the minute it was revealed if somebody was a sex offender, it was, you don't associate with them. You're done. They're not your friend. They're not your family. You have a separation. Because otherwise, if you are a law enforcement officer or somebody who works in the judicial system having Thanksgiving dinner with a fucking child molester who's registered, it kind of starts looking a little suspicious, and then there's no clear objectivity when things have to come up in court or things come up legally against this person, especially when there's evidence of that abuse and you're covering it up.
And they are covering it up. You're going to kill him up too.
One thing. Oh, sorry.
My turn. I gotta go to the bathroom, not you. Oh, I was just checking that message from my girlfriend.
Yep. Oh God, I have the bladder of a 5-year-old.
See, all these people can say these things to me. Why didn't they make a single goddamn effort ever to turn it
Real
in
quick,
with me?
before we get any more, I do want to say something very clearly. One, as I've stated before, I have no personal gain. I have no financial gain in this. I actually said I was trying to prove you wrong. My bad, sorry. And I do expect retaliation. I do expect for people to try to threaten me. And I am prepared for that. Also, I know you've had people in the past, you've tried to get help from these people. Despite my darker past, the times when I've really struggled and the struggles I've been through, I don't have a criminal record. I don't have a driving record. Like, my driving record's clear. I don't have eviction records. I don't have I have been a court-approved supervisor for juveniles in the system, both for behavioral conduct and sex offending juveniles. I have been approved to do supervised visits for mothers involved in drug court and custody battles. I have untold, like, I'm not going to say infinite. I have a lot of people who can vouch for me as with my integrity, my character, my honesty. I'm not somebody who has a history of in and out of the system and then in and out of the juvenile system and in and out of the adult system and on the streets all the time. Like, yes, I had a period on the streets, but on the whole, I'm not like other people that have been on the streets. I'm not better than them in any way, shape, or form. But I'm also not somebody that can be torn down and, oh, well, you did this and that in your past. Well, I'm still a good person.
Well,
I haven't done shit.
When you were talking about, how you're not supposed to associate with someone when they had that go on, nobody ever charged me with sexual assault. Nobody ever charged me with rape. Nobody ever charged me with any of that kind of stuff. And that's the thing, like, people are distancing themselves, saying that they could lose their jobs for being friends with me and losing their jobs for talking to me. For what? I'm not a registered sex offender. I'm not a rapist. I'm not somebody who goes out and does that. And that's the main issue here is that, I've been treated like one of those for over an entire year because, obviously when I was supposedly stalking her, we were friends.
Yeah, that's not stalking.
And with
never once in 6 months of Facebook messages did she say, Sean, go away, leave me alone. Not once.
Right, and that's the whole thing with, after that happened, like, people were haunting me as if I was a sexual predator over that, and I didn't go pretending like I never got in contact with her, and I didn't pretend that I didn't contact our mutual friends or my friends.
You've never denied it.
Friends. And I didn't pretend like I never went to the police. Like, when this first started, no, of course I didn't go to the police. I knew they weren't going to listen. I know already what happens in these situations, and I did the first thing that you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go to your bully and ask them to stop. If the source of your bullying is a rumor, you go to the source of the rumor. If that doesn't work, you are supposed to go to your friends for support and protection. If that doesn't work, you're supposed to go to a teacher or a preacher or a police officer, somebody for help. And the fact is, I did all of those, and all of those were used as excuses to claim that I was a stalker. No, that's evidence that I was trying to get help. You know, the message that where she was, where I was trying to explain to her, hey, I want to get a protection order against Tim Beeson and the other people who were assaulting me. Give the police my number. You know, I'm literally doing everything that I could to try to get the help that I needed to stop what I was going through. And, you know, then there's when she was messaging me right before, when she wanted the protection order. Like, I didn't know she wanted a protection order. I thought she was going to do something to stop the threats and harassment.
That's what I would have thought.
You know, and then when it turned out to be a protection order, I didn't message her again. When I found out she was missing, though, that's when I messaged her. I was like, hey, call your mom. You know, I got like $400. I will send you all of my money to get you somewhere safe.
Yeah, and those text message screenshots, which again, those are on public domain on the internet. It shows that. Like, after she said she was on her way and she wasn't, and you're still waiting, like, the messages stopped. You never were like, what the fuck? The cops showed up. What the hell? You know, you just left it.
Did I ever
until the 28th?
Kill her or
No.
to chop her head off or feed her
No.
dogs to the anything?
No, not from anything I have seen at all. And not only that, but you are not that person. You're not a violent person.
Well, a lot of people have committed crimes trying to pretend that I was. And
What blows
these guys have actually literally been on the news.
what blows my mind too is that when I had an issue with sexual assault on the streets, and I went to the old school dudes and I went around asking for help, they told me. Now, these are older people on the streets that have been around longer, not these fucking young kids that don't know shit because they haven't been taught correctly or they're strung out. But I was told specifically, this is the one time where you must involve the police. We cannot interfere if it is a sex crime. Because if we do, it can come back on the homeless people. You must go to the police. And I do not know why that was not done. Like, those people should have never... And that's just street logic, okay? This is just what I learned in my time on the streets. That if Natalie was saying, he's stalking me, he's molesting me, he's a predator, all of this, where was the person saying, show me the proof? We can't do anything without the proof.
And that's the thing, is that Natalie
It was all hearsay.
All Natalie said was that I stalked her, which I proved is not true. The other stuff came from her sister and from Maddie Boa. And I literally... I had gone to everybody that I could to try to get help stopping it. And, you know, when I tried to explain to them what's going on, I was getting that, well, you just need to love yourself and, you know, crap like that. And I'm like, hey, you're not even listening to what I'm saying. No, I'm listening, Sean. You're not listening to me.
It's 11 minutes and 22 seconds left. I'd leave it on, but I don't want to use up this dude's internet time. It's on a phone. I don't know how much he's got, and I didn't ask him permission. I automatically connected my computer because it automatically hooks it up. If it weren't for the fact that he's outside passed out in his car right now, I wouldn't have internet. I fucking told you, god damn it. Fucking help.